welcome to Tasty Jamz, a video podcast for rock and metal musicians, where each week we feature new bands to showcase their music and hear their stories so that you can get you and your band out of the garage and onto the main stage. All right, so how are you guys doing?
Amazing.
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. What do you think of the studio so far?
It's awesome.
Pretty
dude.
cool.
It blew all of our minds.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we've never seen anything like this in our area.
Awesome, cool deal.
They already blew my mind.
Hell yeah. So, thanks to anybody who's not familiar with what Tasty Jamz is now. We're officially making a podcast and a video show. Tasty Jamz is basically going to be interviewing new bands every week. And they're going to tell us a little bit about their stories of what their experiences are like, and anything they can give to, really help motivate people or teach people how to get your band really out of the garage and onto the main stage. That is the whole goal of this show. We're going to be talking everything from instruments, the gear that they use, some of their influences. We're going to get to listen to some of their track later on, and we have a music video to show you. And make sure to stick around for the very end of it, because we have an acoustic set, so this will definitely be pretty awesome. I can't wait to hear it for sure. So if you want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Stefan. I play drums in the band Big Mister.
I'm Tyler. I do vocals.
I'm Jamin, and I sing and play guitar. And then we've got Jacob, who plays guitar, but he's not here with us.
Yeah,
right
couldn't
now.
make it.
Okay, cool deal. So Big Mister, how'd you get the name?
That's your story.
It started, it was like kind of a joke. They were in a band before this, and it started kind of like, I guess, would you call it a side project?
Yeah.
It was a side project per se, and me and him, we worked together, and
Where'd you work?
at a gas station
Yeah.
to beat it all. But anyways, we worked together. He quit his job, but we still hung out and shit. And one day we were hanging out. We were like recording pre-pros and whatnot. Like I had solo stuff before this, and they were in a band before this.
Yeah.
And then like me and him decided to link up and like work on something. So we wanted to like put a name to it. We didn't know what to name it. And one day we were all hanging out, and then his brother, was it your brother? Who?
What we got?
It was Josh, wasn't it?
It
That
was
came
me.
in.
Yeah.
That came in, or was it you?
Yeah, it was me.
It was you.
Yeah.
That came into the room and was like, he saw me because we hadn't hung out in a couple days. He was like, "What's up, Big Mister?" And I
Okay,
was like,
gotcha.
"Dude, that's the fucking name right there.
Cool.
That's
deal.
it."
Move the microphone there. Cool deal.
So
That's actually really cool, man.
that's how
that's
it
the
came to be.
bomb. So,
That's how the name came to be.
So I guess really, since this is the first episode, I should introduce myself. My name is Jacob Hart. Been playing guitar for a long time, and I have a huge passion for rock and metal music. I really do. Like everything I do in my life revolves around either metal guitars, metal shows. I'm a big fan of Glenn Fricker from Spectre Media Group. His channel is fucking amazing, and it's taught me a lot of stuff. And really, what he does is give a lot of information that the people don't know to ask, really. You know, because every show that you see when they interview any metal or rock bands, they always ask them the same generic questions.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
where are you from? How'd you get together? Stuff like that. Do you have any touring plans? No, we're actually going to talk a little bit more in depth to what it's like being in a band.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's
before we get started here, I have a couple of questions prepared here, because really this is stuff that was brought to me and asked me a lot of people that was getting started. So let's go back to when you first started playing. When did you know that you really wanted to be in a band?
Well, for me and him, it's pretty much been as long as we can remember. We've been
yeah, since we were kids, we'd like play with guitars and like make pillow drum sets and like
frying pans, all
yeah,
that stuff.
And then finally like
We had a trash can one time. so-
yeah. Once we were old enough to like actually, all be able to play in unison and in time, basically, was when we started. Like we were like 12 when we started playing shows.
Hell yeah.
And I knew then that like that's definitely what I wanted to do for sure.
So for the beginners out there, that's really, maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're in high school. If you're listening to this, metal and rock, making a living in metal and rock music is very unrealistic. So that's why a lot of people are really just, you got to be crazy to go toward that career. And I know you're seeing it on TV, and you know, if you turn on like old MTV or VH1, you see all these famous rock stars and loaded and money going out. Yeah, that's
not like
not
that
realistic at all.
Yeah,
Really, in this profession, you need and require one thing, and that's passion more than anything else. You know? And if you don't have that intrinsic motivation in you to really pursue forward into it, you are not going to make it. You're probably not even going to get to the stage, let alone keep it up. And
you got to be willing to like put everything in your life on hold if you want to be in a band.
It's literal blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
man.
like your job, your family, your gal.
That goes into like
anything.
the next question I had. It says, how do you go about forming a band for beginners? Like, so you know you want to be in a band. Now, how do you go about doing it?
I think the best way, like, yeah, you take it.
It's really kind of hard, but you just kind of have to message as many people. With social media being as huge as it is now, you just
really
kind of have to contact as many people as you can. And that goes for not only starting a band, but anything, just making contacts with people.
Finding connections. Building relationships with people inside of your local scene really helps too.
Yeah, personal as well as social media. Like you got to go in person and you got to meet people, talk to people, go to shows definitely.
I got lucky. I met him, and then through him, I met him. And, I mean, I work a full-time job on top of being in a band. 40 hours a week.
Yeah, it was me. I was working full-time and then doing college
it sucks,
at the same
man,
time.
but the thing is my job, like, they hook me up and they give me the days off that I need and whatnot.
That's awesome.
And
so
they understand.
Flexible schedule is definitely
definitely.
a requirement for if you want to be in a band.
Hands down, man.
You're not really going to get a great job where you're working 12, 16-hour shifts somewhere, or like a doctor or anything like that. Because you have to have days off.
You do.
For sure.
Okay, good. So, what do you expect from your band members when you're looking for another band? Or if you're a band and you got somebody wanting to join a band, because that's what most people do, is what do you look for in that band member?
Dedication.
Yeah, commitment. Like I said, you've got to be able to, drop anything at any time for the band.
It's really two things. It's having a passion for your craft, like your music that you make, your instrument. It's that, and then it's also being able to actually commit, like Jamin said.
Yeah, like you've got to be there every practice, be there for every show, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have a big time with bandmates being like late, hours late. And then especially when your practice is only like, let's say a couple hours,
that
ruins an hour into practice.
Well, at the end of the day, I know the old age saying is, actions speak louder than words. I mean, whenever you're looking for a bandmate, like if they're there on time and they seem like they want to be a part of it, that speaks louder than anything they can do.
Yeah. If everything comes together correctly, you'll just know whether or not they're meant to be.
Awesome. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is people being hours late.
Yeah, understandable.
I say that because one of my friends is late for a lot of stuff, and I give her hell all the time. It's okay. My coworkers are too. So, besides here, I work at a vape shop back in Bristol, Tennessee. So I already know somebody listening to this right now is going to point out our southern accents, just so they know we are from Bristol, Tennessee. So if you don't know where that's at, look up the Bristol Motor Speedway and you will see. Pretty much a hick town. If it's not bluegrass or country, they pretty much don't give a fuck around here.
We're all southern as hell.
Yep. And nothing against bluegrass and country. I'm sure that's cool with people. Fuck country. Anyways, so it's really hard to get gigs if you're in a small town. Like certain small towns that are just, kind of set in their folklore, and their own little communities. They don't really.
It's definitely hard to get a crowd out shows here, because people are usually wanting to see country and bluegrass. So you got to really work hard to get tickets sold and get that draw that you want to have a good show. You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, whenever we first started playing like actual paid gigs and stuff was when we were in the band To Your Dismay, our old band, and we were a metal band. We were heavier, and we just kind of got thrown into everything. And at that time, the metal scene was a lot more vibrant, and there was a lot more people coming out to shows and things like that. But
I was in the metal scene in a band called Plague Worn back in I think 2010, I would say, and Yeah, we would draw a crowd sometimes, upwards to a couple hundred people. It was really cool. But then sometimes it's just you, your bands, and the girlfriends.
Five, like 5 people.
And maybe the bartender's friend.
Yeah.
That was about it, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that those are just wasted shows, and they're really not, you know, because every show is a practice.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's no better
Hands
practice
down.
than being at a show.
That's true
And
shit.
that's how you really get better. I mean, everything from, you know, bad cables, bad equipment, tuning your guitar before you get on stage, warm-ups.
Using your clicks, you can
little
practice
stuff
with
like
your
that.
click
Yes,
tracks. Yeah.
definitely. Anybody listen to this, practice with a click track.
Yeah.
It will be the best thing you'll ever do in your life.
Yeah.
I played for many years without it, and I tried learning to play with it in the studio, and I just
it completely
just screwed me
Yeah.
up. And then that's my best friend. I'll go and shout out to him, Matt Wooten. He was the other guitarist in Plague Warren, and he kicked my ass in that studio. So it was at the point where I was like, you know what? Since you played tight, I'm gonna let you record all the riffs. So I did. I mean, he played so tight. It was ridiculous because if you know anything about studio recordings, you have to play it exactly right.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
4 times and 4 layers, and that will sometimes take you doing the riff thousands of times before you get it.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people think studio recording's done in a couple hours or a day.
Shit.
Usually,
It's a lot of
from
fun.
what my experience, it was about a week long for a song. I mean, full
And
mastered.
huge appreciation for music engineers and producers who have to sit there and capture it.
Oh, absolutely. If you guys ever check out that Glenn Fricker show, Spectre Media Group or Spectre Sound Studios, he is the man. He will tell it exactly like it is. I mean,
That's awesome.
his show is really killer. I've been following his show for a while, and actually I get most of my tips from his show, and he's taught me a lot. And then it kind of encouraged me to pursue a lot of audio engineering, so I got to learn a lot about sound and dynamics, EQ, compressors, lots of different stuff that most people have no idea what you're talking about. Everything from power conditioners inside your rack. I mean, that stuff makes a big difference, especially in the stage. So do you have any tips that you would give a bands for writing music? What's a good, proper way to write that's not just wasting your time?
Writing, I would say get a good little studio program and get yourself an interface and start recording yourself.
Kind of like
by
an
yourself.
Audio Box mobile preamp or Scarlett 2i2 or something.
Yeah, because that's what we started to do, and I found that like recording your own music, you just get crazy ideas and like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, the best or the main thing you need is inspiration, and inspiration can be really hard to find.
Yeah.
And if you have a DAW that you can work on, a workstation that you can put your ideas out onto paper, so to speak, then it's a lot easier to have that inspiration.
Formulate ideas and such.
So I've heard a lot of people writing music that way. I've heard of some of the bigger bands I'll listen to, Killswitch Engage. When they form a lot of their ideas, they'll record it themselves and send it to each other. And they end up forming songs that way.
That's literally what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what we do.
like with Adam D as the producer, man. He
These two guys will write a song, an amazing song, and I'll be at work, and I'll get it in an email, and then from there I start writing lyrics, and then we all meet up, and from there it's like building blocks, like
then
Legos,
we go to Matt Smile.
We just build and
at
build
the
and
Buds
And it took
HQ.
us a
And then
minute.
Matt Smile, shout out to Matt.
He's our
Love you, buddy.
producer.
We love you, Matt.
He's our boy.
He's pretty cool. We have actually got hopefully have those guys on the show here pretty soon.
Awesome.
And Armed the Witness and Bound by the Crown, and we
Hell
got
yeah.
Love every single one of
every
those
one of
songs.
those
We got
bands.
quite a few people that's interested in being here, and I was
Love those
really
guys.
happy. I sent out a post on Facebook, just kind of kicking around the idea because I really wanted to do some kind of a video podcast or something, or a show, really. And yeah, man, my Facebook blew up all day long.
That's
Just
awesome,
people
dude.
tagging everybody, tagging this
Saw that
person.
post.
Yeah.
It was. I couldn't remember how much it was, but I was like, wow, we should really do this and here we are.
Capitalize on that,
So,
man. You got it.
welcome to Tasty Jamz.
We love it here.
So
Yeah,
Tasty
this is
Jamz,
awesome.
obviously, it's Tenacious D reference. So I love Tenacious D.
Yeah, dude. Tenacious D's awesome.
You wrote a Tasty Jam and all the planets did a line. So.
Hey, when you get the Buds here, they'll play you some Tenacious D too.
Really?
on
Yeah.
acoustic.
Oh
That's
yeah,
awesome. I
they'll
look
play
forward
the
to seeing
shit.
that.
Yeah,
out
they
of
fucking
Tenacious
kill
D.
it. They
That's
fucking
awesome.
kill it.
They can play
I
tribute.
cannot wait to see that. That's gonna be killer.
Yeah.
So some people feel that they're held back from not having expensive gear. What do you say? to
Not
that?
at all.
That's a complete bias. Like you're
Yeah.
holding yourself back at that point.
Like
Gear has nothing to do with anything. Like if you have the
if you know how
motivation,
to use it, you can get a good tone
exactly.
out of it. Yeah.
If you know how to use it and you know what you're doing, gear has nothing to do with it. I would say a good platform as far as like recording, like if you're recording demos or pre-pros, like anything, like dude, whenever I was starting before I knew these guys, I used Audacity.
Yeah, free program.
Oh yeah,
It's free.
program. I've
It's
used that
completely
plenty of
free,
times.
man, and I used it. So I mean, that being said, like it's all about like just utilizing freebies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the
use
day.
what you've got and really learn how
Coming
to use
from
it.
a
And then I
band
met
on a
these guys
budget,
and like
that's-
they were already like a step ahead of me. They were using like, you know, Presonus and
Yeah, Studio One.
Studio
yeah,
One.
Studio One and shit.
I
Like
messed around with Sony Avid. No, Sony Acid Pro. I'm sorry.
I've
And,
never used that.
That was old school. This was,
Yeah.
I think this is back in like 2004. I think I was using it. But yeah, I got a hold of that program, and I think I remember spending about probably 20 something hours before I even got the hang of how
Yeah,
to really
just
do it.
how to
Of course, here I
run
was a teenager. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. Man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my best album in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did that, and I started recording them on like burnt CDs, just little burnt CDs, and I was handing my demos out to my friends and stuff like that. Just here, listen to it, tell me what you think. I got my guitar skills, bro. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
nah, it wasn't.
Hell yeah.
Wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty cool.
But I mean, whenever you limit yourself and you're like, I don't know, like whenever you're saying that you can't do something,
Making excuses for yourself.
yeah, making excuses for
Yeah,
yourself.
excuses is
Like
one
there,
thing I absolutely hate.
and
like,
we've all
I hate
done it. Everybody's done it.
Mhm.
Like
I have to.
everybody has. Like, don't limit yourself. That's the main
I think
key
that's one
to
of the
it.
things I've neglected the guitar for a long time is I don't actually play every day anymore.
Yeah.
And my friend Matt, he plays it every day. I mean, every day. So he's getting like way better
Yeah.
than me. He's a tight ass player. And so I kept telling him, I said, man, I don't know. I got to have a reason to pick up the guitar. Like, I can't be just jamming to be jamming, you know. I was like, man, I mean, I'm not in a band. I'm not even looking to be in a band because I've got, at this point in my life right now, I got a little too much going on with college and working full time and then filming. I run a film production company. Well, I don't run it. I help run it with a few of my other close friends, Dark Star Films with Chelsea Lambert, and we've been kicking some ass at that. And yeah, the more we do, the more music videos we're gonna film, and we're getting better at that. So I'm pursuing a lot of other stuff at the moment, but guaranteed, it's coming soon. I'll be back on that stage.
That's awesome.
I'll be
Hell
talking
yeah,
to
dude.
somebody one way or
Hell
another.
yeah.
I love it because once you get the bug for playing, you never.
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
you
it's a
never
You
drug.
don't lose
It's
it,
a
man.
drug.
It literally lights a fire under your ass.
Doesn't it feel like you're
Yeah.
a Super Saiyan when you're on stage sometimes?
Yeah,
I mean, it
literally.
does. It's like a
Yeah.
Every
superpower.
single time.
I mean,
That's a
I
good
used to love it when I
analogy.
chugged those guitar strings on stage and it kick you right in the chest. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're just so
Yeah, dude.
so loud. The
People
volume
beating
and,
the fuck out of each other and
yes,
shit.
the mosh
Yeah.
pits. I
It's
love
the
it.
best feeling
Yeah,
on the
dude.
planet, man.
It's awesome.
And
Yeah.
especially like, you know, you work so hard and you write these songs and then you see people like, you know, getting into it and singing along to it. Like nothing compares to that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the best adrenaline rushes I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, dude,
And,
for sure.
I did a little bit of MMA and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
no, like being on stage with that power through you,
Just
the
a
power of that
rush.
music just right through your
Yeah.
veins, man. It's like something about the tone of that electric guitar to me just
And that
makes
kick.
you feel invincible, man.
Yeah.
You know?
You feel it in your chest.
Hatebreed says it. Jamie Josta would say it a lot on his shows that, you know, I hope our music tonight makes you feel invincible, and damn right, man.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't say it better
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, really, so you guys just now got your first recording, right?
Yeah.
The EP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and tell us a little bit how that process. How'd y'all go going into the studio?
We went. We recorded it at the Buds HQ studio, engineered and produced by Matt Smile.
And where's that at?
It's in Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol, Tennessee. Cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's right by the Speedway. Obviously, he did an amazing job. It's our self-titled E EP.
And we recorded that like last summer
Okay.
and took about a year to get it all mixed and mastered because Chris Crummett,
Okay.
who's done like Issues and Dance Gavin Dance, mastered it.
Okay.
Real
And
Friends.
that-
He just
and-
did.
Yeah, he
Real
just
Friends.
did
Yeah,
Real
he did
Friends
Real
too.
Friends too.
Yeah.
And, February, was that one of the tracks off that one?
Yeah, that's
Yep,
our
it was.
first single that we released
So,
off of it.
I want to let you guys check out the music video to this, so you can kind of hear what some of their music's like, and we will be right back.
I just needed time to clear my head, and I just needed time to make up my bed, and I just needed time all by myself to think about this. How, and I was so insecure, but without you I've gone stronger, and I don't think that I'm gonna, and I buried us in a shoebox when we said our last goodbyes. When we said our last goodbyes, I tried a million times to make you change your mind. The look up on your face just says I'm wasting all my time. I'm not the one who should be shedding off my skin. When I think of you, I see myself get began. I lost myself in the inside, and in this all I'm gone. I lost myself in the inside, but I still feel you by my side. In February it was so cold, the coldest I've ever known. I was so insecure, but without you I've gone stronger, and I don't think that I'm a goner, and I buried us in a shoebox when we said our last goodbyes. I tried a million times to make you change your mind. The look up on your face just says I'm wasting all my time. I'm not the one who should be shedding off my skin. But when I think of you, I see myself giving in. I see myself giving in. I see myself giving in. Well, I see myself giving in.
So yeah, hope you liked the video. Leave it in the comments what you think about the music video in the comments below. We want to hear your feedback for sure. Let us know what you think of these guys, and if you can, get out to a local show around here in the Tri-Cities and get out and see them. So back to our discussion. Let's see. What challenges really will you face when trying to start a band? Like, getting a place to practice was always a big challenge for me. Especially in neighborhoods, you know, you see it on TVs, they're jamming in the garage and stuff. That shit does not fly around here. I've had the cops called on me many times. I've been called Satan worshipers. I've been called demons. They heard the voices of the devil coming from my garage. I've heard it all when it comes to that. So really, what was your experiences like? How'd you find a place to practice?
We've always been pretty fortunate to have his
We're pretty
his
lucky.
house. We're like
him.
that.
Is it
We're
drummer?
that,
We're fortunate for him.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
usually
lucky.
the drummer has the place to practice because that. So, and if you're a parent listening to this podcast, you know, really think about what your kids are doing. When you got a teenager that's into music and he's got a band and he's wanting to practice, be supportive of that, because
they could be out doing drugs.
They could be out doing 10 million times worse things.
Don't do drugs.
I mean, look at where
Instead
we're
of
at,
just
man.
staying
We're in
inside.
East Tennessee, man. The opioid epidemic is insane.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it's
And-
insane. People are doing
that shit.
heroin. People are doing Suboxone. People are doing anything.
And I think
they can
most
get
of the
their
time
hands on.
when, it's kind of coming a little off topic on the drug subject, but music was a way for me to really express myself and be motivated to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
man,
a lot of times when it comes to drugs, it's because they're bored as shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
at the
it
end of the
really
day,
is.
people get bored, and idle hands are the devil's plaything, man. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like, if you're bored, man, and you don't have an outlet
That
for
was a
it,
good one.
you're gonna literally strive for whatever you can do. And people get bored, and they literally go for what their friends are doing, man.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad, man. Like, we live in an area to where kids,
Wanna do nothing
there's
but
so
party
much
and-
talent here.
Yeah.
Like, I went to school with so many people that could have went to college and played ball, or could have done this or done that, and instead they got hooked on dope.
Yeah.
And it's sad, man. It's genuinely sad. And
Yeah,
luckily I got lucky, and I mean, I had good parents, and they were strict as fuck. Like, they were strict, bro. I mean, I went to
my parents
Bible
were too.
camps my whole
Same
life,
here.
dude.
Same
Yeah.
here.
And I mean, I was the kid, look at me now, I got devil tats on me and shit. But I mean,
people think we're satanic.
oh,
and
of course
crazy
they do,
stuff like
but
that,
they don't
and
understand the
They
bigger
don't
picture.
even.
But,
real satanic is not even anything to do with.
Satanic is just
Yeah.
aesthetic atheism.
Exactly. Right. It's,
But-
atheism.
But
you're
nobody
proud to
would
wear the
understand
badge,
that
yeah.
had they
Yeah.
talked about it. But I grew up with so many kids, man, and all they did was they played ball in high school, and then after that there was no college for them. They just got hooked on dope, dude. And then that was it.
Pretty much.
And
I've
talented-
seen drugs really take away from a lot of stuff. I knew a
Yeah.
drummer. I'm not gonna say names or anything, but he was hooked on that bottle so bad he could not show up sober, and bands would just kick him right
And
out.
that becomes a
you know.
pattern. It's like when you want to get fucked up when you're playing music.
Get fucked
You-
up after
yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get fucked up after
in
a
my
show,
old band,
party, I
Plague
mean,
Warren, I'm sure if they're probably watching this, they can go and tell you, and they want to kick my ass right now. But I was always like, get high and do your stuff after the show. I don't
Yeah.
care what
Yeah.
you do as long as it's after the show. I mean,
'Cause
it's,
that's when you don't have to worry if you
and
play
the
good
reason
show.
we say that, it's not because people. Moderation is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If you want to have a couple beers at practice, hell yeah, guaranteed. I mean, it's almost required in most rock and metal bands. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
definitely
Then
true.
he
We
has
had
to
to
learn.
learn.
Smoke a little, if
12-pack
you want to
and-
smoke a little bit
Yeah,
right in
yeah.
there, that's fine too. It's just moderation, and sadly, most people cannot
have it.
moderate.
Yeah.
They don't have that. Alcohol is the same way, man.
We had to learn the hard way on that. There's this one show in particular where
Yeah.
for a while there we just kind of let loose every
we
time we
got
play a show.
super fucked up.
yeah,
we go.
and it
We
ended
got the
up really
band-
bad.
band
Everybody got
confessions right now.
wasted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is band confessions.
And it was at the
Yeah.
most fucked up venue ever. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's called the Auditorium. Where is it?
Asheville,
That's in
North
It's in
Carolina.
Asheville, yes.
Yeah, I've been there before.
It's
It's
awesome.
an awesome venue.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
it was
love
an
to play it
awesome venue.
again. We made ourselves look like assholes
Yeah, because we
because
got
we
too
got
fucked up.
drunk as hell.
Yeah.
Everybody in the band.
I've
did.
seen that by a lot of bands
Yeah.
too.
I mean, we all did, and it was we had fun, but
If we would've been
everything
sober.
that could have went wrong
Yeah.
went wrong, and it was more than likely all of our fault.
yeah,
If we didn't do drugs, it would have been better.
Yeah,
Moral of the story.
yeah. At
But,
least you'd be
I
able to
mean,
focus.
shit
Yeah.
happens. We learned from it and became a better band because of it.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
now we're to the point, like
Sometimes
you
you
said,
need
like
that.
drink and do the shit after the show. You know what I mean? Like,
Pretty much, I agree. I mean, we would celebrate after a good show. I mean, I think every
deserve
good
it,
band does. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a treat
Yeah.
yourself. Hey, you
Yeah.
played a good show and celebrate with your fans. I mean,
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
that is one of the best things too.
Yeah.
You go to a show and you see them on stage, it's cool. But when they're out there and they actually get to see you meeting people and they get to meet you, it means a lot to a lot of people. Believe it or not, I think a lot of people's embarrassed of it because the whole meeting the celebrity can be an awkward experience.
Yeah.
You meet somebody that you've looked up to for a long time, like. Let's see, mine was James Hetfield, right? I would love to meet him, right? Oh, God, yeah. It's like, what do you say? What do I ask?
Yeah.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Don't even
and you
know.
get that little awkward,
Yeah.
what is it we call it?
My
The little,
hands.
the
I don't know
fangirl
what to do
moment.
with
You
these.
get your fangirl moment. So, and I've had a few of them, but usually just kind of just think they're just like us, you know. They're not super beings. They're nothing special. They're just regular people that have been in the industry and done a good enough job to where you know who they are. You know? So, what is the worst place you've ever had to practice?
We
Probably
practiced
in my basement.
in his basement.
A musty old.
I never had to
basement.
do that.
We couldn't stand all the way up.
With like dirt floor.
I wasn't a
and we
drummer at
couldn't
the
stand
time.
up.
I've been in the basement, but I've never practiced.
Playing
there.
crunched over like
Yeah. Practicing for our first metalcore show as To Your Dismay. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, my old band was a tool shed outside. We had this like tool shed, and we were lucky enough it had a door, and it was freezing cold because I think we started practicing in like December.
Your guitars are like ice cold.
Oh yeah,
Literally the
so we had
worst
like
season.
we had propane heaters here. I'll actually show a picture of it up. We had propane heaters heating this little room. I think we had like 2 propane heaters and a little like plug up heater. And my drummer was wearing like these toe shoes. I'm not sure if you've seen them. They have a name for them.
Birkenstocks.
No,
They got actual toes, dude.
Yeah, they're actually like
Those are
hiking
toe
shoes.
shoes.
Yeah, they're like water shoes or
They
hiking
got
shoes.
literal little toes.
Yeah, and he was wearing those to drum with because and he would like as soon as he would get done with the song, he'd put his feet over by the heater.
They're like ice cold.
It was ice cold. We could see your breath out there.
Man, you guys just weren't playing hard enough.
Yeah, once you get started, it got a little warm with the 2
there you
amps, but we practiced, I think, and learned our first 4 songs inside there, and then once we got our singer, his mom had a bigger place, and we all went up there to practice, and
It's way better.
yeah, and she had all kinds of like PA equipment and stuff like that, so
hell yeah.
she helped us out a little bit, also with the utility trailer. So yeah, most bands don't realize they don't think about logistics. When you get a show or you're in a band, you have to be able to get your equipment to and from practice.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
And I will go ahead and tell you, leaving your equipment at band practice is not a good idea if you don't know the band well yet. If you're just getting into a band, you just do not leave your you know, expensive amp and guitars over there just to be wrecked, you know.
And another thing I'll say about playing shows is like learn how to break your gear down and set it back up as fast as you possibly can.
And I'll say the same thing
That
for singers
is a
too.
Yeah,
because
sound
a lot of
guys will
singers
get so
don't
pissed.
understand that you know, your microphone, your equipment, the PA, that is your hardware. That's your gear.
It took
And
me a
you
while.
need to
I'm not
learn
gonna
that
lie.
and master that,
Learn
and
how
be
to
able to
set
do
that
your own
shit up.
mic checks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Because let's face it, you're not having roadies doing it for you.
Yeah.
The venue's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going to
yeah.
do it for you on most venues.
It took
you know?
these guys busting my balls, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
We had to get him
busting
trained.
them. I'm talking busting my balls, dude.
Yeah.
For
me-
like probably 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
that's all it took. And then from then on out, I knew.
Yeah.
For drummers,
But I
it's
also
bad.
I use a vocal pedal, and
Okay.
like,
So
I've got
you've
my
got
own
your
mi-
you've got
I've
your,
got
like,
my
your
own little
compressors.
setup, so
Awesome.
it took
Yeah.
a while, but they busted my balls bad enough to where I figured it
Yeah,
out.
I've seen people use compressors on live vocals, and they have their own gear, and it just sounds so flawless. And then you got some people that just relying on the I guess the sound guy, whoever
Yeah,
the
just
sound
the
guy to run
solid.
it.
Well, we do that
Basic
too.
PA.
It honestly depends the venue, man. Like
Yep,
if
that
If
it
it's
does.
Capone's, you don't even.
you don't
It's
need
just
you don't need a
perfect.
vocal pedal. Like I mean, the
Shout
vocal
out
pedal
Alan
at
Prince,
this,
sound guy, Alan Prince.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Shout out
Alan
Alan
Prince.
He's
I've
the shit.
I've
He's an
filmed
awesome guy.
quite a few shows over there, and he's always been a really
Yeah.
smart, intelligent guy.
Yeah,
he
he's
knows his
awesome,
stuff.
dude.
And,
He'll record your audio too if you bring a flash drive. so-
Yep.
yep. Every
He will.
For
every
free.
time we film there at Capone's, believe it or not, we get our audio and sync it up from it.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
quality.
And it's
of it.
awesome.
He's
yeah.
amazing.
And
man.
I just
He's
take the
great.
tracks and mix them
He's
myself.
been doing
Yeah,
what he
yeah.
does for a long
Yeah,
ass time.
you can definitely
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. And,
But like, I mean, you know, like we were saying, it took me forever.
Yeah, it takes practice. Like
Like it was literally them
it's a
busting
lot.
my
It's a lot of
balls
hard
every
work
day, and-
involved in everything. I mean, everything from guitar setups,
Yeah,
pedals, cables. You're gonna have faulty cables that you have to troubleshoot.
yeah, and you don't want your
Um,
cables getting in a big ball of mixture.
Speaking
You
of
wanna
sound
keep 'em
guys.
And a lot of people, I made this mistake a long time ago. Is I used to take my cables and I would wrap them over my arm
Yeah.
like this, and I heard that ruins cables.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you
I
gotta
found
kinda-
I found a proper way to
Yeah.
wrap them, and you can easily get a lot more life out of those cables doing that instead of just wrapping them fast.
Water hose style. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Still ain't
what I
figured
used to
that
do
out
all
yet.
the time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, another thing is drums on stage.
So I didn't used to be a drummer. I used to play bass, and that involved a lot less work. Even though I
Yeah.
had the big ass 8x10 cab to worry about, It's a lot more with drums because it's a lot of different pieces and
Yeah,
stuff
he's
like
got
that.
like
You have to go off the stage and back on the stage. And
10 individual pieces. He's got like cymbals and stands and then his kit.
And then I'm also dealing with a laptop and sound
He's
equipment.
running our whole back.
And
rigs and
What, do you have sound samples for your your bass drops?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
okay, that and you
Yeah.
probably start the song with if you've got overlays
Mhm.
and
And
yeah, I've
it's the
seen a
bane.
lot of
Sound
MacBooks
guys
over there.
for a while.
Yeah.
It was the bane of all sound guys to have me, for a while. But then I learned how to do it a little faster. So
awesome. You know, I think it's a common trend. You know, every drummer I've ever seen on stage with the laptop over, it's always been a Mac. Is this just like the trend or anything?
if I had a Mac, I'd probably use it. But
Yeah.
MacBooks are good for
they
live
just
sounds.
run really
Yeah.
good.
Oh
And
yeah,
they
I mean,
don't
I'm a
fuck
huge
up.
fan of Apple products.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
they really run solid, and
Super
for the stage, I
reliable.
would highly recommend it. But
yeah.
I've never seen anything but a MacBook. On
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
kind of-
go-to.
It's kind
Yeah,
of funny.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially Logic, there's tons of samples you can just
Oh,
run
yeah,
MIDI
yeah.
through there and never have to worry about it failing, crashing. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty solid machines for musicians for sure.
Definitely.
So, what was your very first show like? Very first show you ever
Very
played?
first show.
That's Big Mister.
That's
is-
a complicated question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure all three of your first shows were different, but for Big Mister, how was it?
Was it Capone's? Right?
Yep, it was at
No,
Capone's.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
our very first show was the TYD farewell show.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Super.
Tech-
so we
awkward.
played as Big Mister, but it
Yeah.
wasn't even the same lineup really.
It was really.
Yeah, it was
Weird.
like weird.
So I'd say our
technically, I
first
guess our
show, yeah.
first technical show was Capone's.
Yeah,
Yes.
in Johnson City, and
Yeah.
it was wild. There were a lot of people.
There was
there.
a lot of
It
people.
was so
fun.
kind of validating and took a weight off our shoulders to
Yeah.
Literally.
to see
that's
people
great.
Like, we
actually
still got
jump
it,
and they
yeah.
dug our new band really
Yep.
meant a lot. Cause,
Yeah, that's kind of similar to my first experience.
yeah.
In 2010, a lot of the local metal bands played at this place called the Fire Escape.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you
Fire
remember
Escape.
in
We've heard,
Kingsford.
we've heard.
And
We've never witnessed it. but-
Kathy, she was the owner of there, and this was a Christian venue.
Yeah.
But she would allow metal bands to play there on weekends as long as they didn't have any derogatory content.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
explicit content, and we actually didn't. We actually kept our lyrics clean, and so she allowed us to play our first show there. And I think it was Dear Annalise, Moria
oh,
Invictus,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I think Elliot Tench was there too. And
Elliot's
we had a
awesome.
really good turnout that night. I think there was close to like 80 people there. I mean, for a first show, and
Yeah, that's always rad.
we were kind of the opening band there. We only had 4 songs, and,
Yeah.
but it was just a little warm up band, and I was very satisfied with the show. I mean, that we really kind of seen what we were looking at as
Yeah.
far as the community, but man, those kids dug it. They were, I mean, they wasn't even supposed to mosh there, and they started pushing and shoving
Yeah.
and circling, and
Yeah.
here they go, and everybody was headbanging, and
Yeah.
everybody was hugging each other, and everybody was like, dude, that was an awesome show. We even had kids like wanting us to sign stuff for them, and it was like,
Yeah.
what? This was our first
It always
crappy
makes it
little
so much worth it.
four
Yeah.
song show, but it was so revealing that people dug our stuff, and yeah, it really. I'll go ahead and show pictures. I have pictures of it actually on here, and you can see me, my friend Matt, Dylan Russell, he was the singer, Devin Kelly was the bass player, and my buddy Austin, he was drummer on there, and and my best friends were in the other band, so so we were kind of like
Yeah.
playing for them too, and
It's awesome.
yeah, we really got to step up our game after that. It was like, oh yeah, this is a lot more intense than I ever thought it would be. So you can't just make some kind of groovy tune. You got to really
Really make it
lay it
heavy
out there,
like,
and not just really heavy, but it's got a flow. You got to have that
Yeah,
groove
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
so how many times have you had the cops called on you for noise ordinance?
Twice or maybe 3 times.
a couple times.
Yeah. So how did y'all deal with that when that officer comes to the door?
One time we
One
were
time we were kids. when it
and
happened.
we stupidly decided to
like
sort of
literally play outside.
we wanted to play a concert, and then so we put our gear outside of the garage.
we just played outside, and
Oh,
the cops came.
So the cops
The cop came, and the cop was a dick.
Oh,
He
was
He was a
dick.
dick. Yeah.
Damn, yeah.
And then
They're
one
not very supportive of metal musicians either.
No,
so.
yeah.
sometimes they're cool in the shop. That like that one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
mine was really cool. Cop knocked on our door. We were playing out in another shed, another friend's house, and he banged on the door, and we opened it up, and there's a cop there, and he comes in there. He goes, "Man, y'all sounded pretty damn good from out here." He was like, "I'm not sure. He's sure what you're playing, but it sure sounds good. But unfortunately, it's a little too loud, and we got a couple neighbors called on you. And yeah, he told me he was into Metallica and Pantera and Megadeth and stuff like that. So we gave him like one of our demos that we had, and it was probably
awesome.
shitty. He probably listened to that shit and threw it away. But at the time it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, any neighborhood you're playing in, somebody's gonna get pissed off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a given.
Yeah.
So on the topic of getting gigs, all right, you're in a band, you've been playing for a while, you got your songs down, you got 3 or 4 I'd say you need at least 4 songs.
At least
At
three.
least 4.
Yeah, 4. So that's what we had was 4. So you got 4 songs down. How do you get in your first gig? Like, what's the method nowadays?
How did we get that? Well, we had our connections from our old band, which really helped out a lot.
Yep.
And like I said, we really didn't have much choice whenever we were starting out as our old band, To Your Dismay.
And literally going to venues and like asking when you can play makes a huge impact. Like,
Or honestly, I mean, dude, we still to this day utilize social media.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
social
furthest
media,
extent we
but
can.
that plus
That's how you get the majority
actually
of shows.
getting out there and
Yeah.
getting to know the owners can really, like, they see you're serious, so they're more apt to let you play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
that's a
always
huge help.
hated emailing for gigs.
Yeah.
I hate
It sucks,
Sorry,
man. That's
it
the
really
worst.
sucks. I keep up with my
Face-to-face is
emails
good.
a lot because I'm got a lot of different stuff going on. But back when I was in a band, man, I did not have time to read no emails or go to a computer. Of course,
Yeah.
now it's right there on your phone, so it just
Yeah,
pulls up. But
we started like a press kit that we use when we email, you know? It's
yeah, I
got
heard
all
that's
our-
really smart. So
EPK.
what's that consist of?
It's basically got all of our information with a picture and our video and
What kind of gear we use
And
when we play
songs,
live.
like
Yeah.
at least 1 or 2 songs.
it's got our stage
Yeah.
set up on it, so venues know
Nice.
if they need
So
help.
what kind of feedback you get on that when you send that to a venue?
press
It's
kit?
basically just kind of the standard for a lot of bigger venues. A lot of smaller venues don't give a shit, but
Yeah.
Because I never had one when we were getting gigs.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know,
nothing
man.
crazy. It's just,
A lot of places look better upon you if you have an EPK.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Like
you,
that's
they
just
can tell
it makes you
you're
look more professional.
managed.
Like, and we didn't understand that at first, but once we utilized it, like it in general it does. It makes you look
And
better
it gives
as a
them
band.
all the information they need to know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Literally
Like,
like
awesome.
what he does.
So it's basically
what I
your band's
do.
resume. And
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kinda
yeah,
hand it.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you heard that. If you're looking to get another gig, send in a resume for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
press kit, for sure.
Yeah, press kit.
Yeah,
is that
press
what it
kit,
is? Now you
EPK.
said something about MPK.
It's an EPK, like an
EPK.
electronic press kit. Like
Okay.
label what dude does, what everybody does
stage
in the
set
band.
up.
Is there
like,
a certain software you use to make that? Or
No, man.
you
I
just
mean,
get
you
on
could use,
Microsoft
you
Word or
could
something?
literally utilize
I
anything.
think I made our
You can
stage
use Microsoft
spreadsheet.
Word if you
yeah,
want.
you
Yeah,
can use
you
Word,
could.
or you
So
can
pretty
just
much,
use
definitely.
free websites.
Cool.
I'm
That's awesome.
honestly, I know for a fact if you sign up for Reverb Nation, that you get
Yeah,
like
they'll make you
you can
I used to use Reverb Nation.
you can
a long
get
time
a
ago.
free EPK.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because before SoundCloud was really going on, we would just like send them a link to a Reverb Nation and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But that website was very hard to navigate and
It is.
very sluggish and
Dude,
slow
it
and very
definitely
unreliable. But other than that, I thought the
sure.
concept of it was really awesome though to have that website. It was kind of like in the film industry they have IMBD.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
IMDb
yeah,
Pro.
that's exactly
And
what that
basically
is
You
in the
get
music
you can see
business.
as a director or digital cinematographer, you can see what you filmed, what you've been on, all the stuff that you've done. It's basically like your resume on there. And
It's awesome.
yeah, Reverb Nation's kind of like that too. Now I think SoundCloud now is like one of the most dominant
Dude,
plays. for-
SoundCloud's
Independent
awesome
artists.
as far
SoundCloud's
as
really
like
cool.
if you're just trying to get your music heard.
You can literally just throw a track on there
SoundCloud
and
is
that's all.
awesome.
Look at all the rappers.
But
Yeah,
one
really
thing
off
that I will say about Reverb Nation that like used to they weren't as good for it,
Okay.
but they recently added the where you can do an EPK for free.
Okay. So you get like
Dude,
one
so
EPK.
that's a-
Yeah,
for,
you get
for
an EPK
account?
for free,
Oh,
and
wow.
that is
So if you're in a band and you want
Yeah,
an EPK, Reverb does
that's
it for
huge.
free.
That's a big deal. I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that doesn't like
we did ours
normally if
just
you go
ourselves,
to
and-
another site, that's going to cost you. I mean, not a lot. It's going to be like $15, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but still getting
if you're
that
not trying to
freeware
pay
is the best
anything
thing
and
to
you
do.
just sign up for Reverb Nation, you get a free EPK. That's fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So as far as the local music scene, we've discussed earlier that the like country music and bluegrass and stuff is real dominant around these areas.
Oh, yeah.
Also, you get a lot of religious prospects that go into it, and everybody thinks you're satanic and stuff like that. And, you know, I've had them protest outside of shows before, and it's always the awkward. You're just kind of like trying to ignore them across the street, but you can't because they got a big megaphone and they're yelling at you. And they got their posters up and telling you you're gonna burn in hell. I mean, you get a lot of that stuff too, but you know, I don't really think it's super hard to get local gigs. It's just keeping them up. That's the problem. You know, you want to be playing as a musician. You know, you're in a band, you got your songs down, and you want to be playing as many shows as you can.
Exactly.
We used to play on the weekends, but then it turned out to where we'd play a couple days in a week. I would suggest if you're in a band and you have the schedule and availability to play as much as you can.
And
I don't care
branch out everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. What he is saying right now.
As far as you possibly can.
It's one thing to play a venue like, you know, like 2-3 times or so. Like, as a band, I know that I'm speaking for the rest of us whenever I say this. We don't like to overstay our welcome.
Because at that point, you just become a bar band.
Exactly. We want to.
That's kind of what we felt like.
Exactly.
Man, we were playing the same bars.
Yeah, and it gets
all the time.
As a band, you are better off starting somewhere and then from that moment on expanding.
Yeah.
And expanding.
I learned that later on, after that band done split, that you can go to larger cities like Philadelphia or New York and play a different venue every night on one street, and you'll never reach to the other end. Like, you would run out. You'd run out of venues. I mean, you more venues would open up before you would get there. Yeah,
it's
insane. It's ridiculous. So really, I mean, think about it. If you, instead of doing a huge tour where you just go state to state every night's a different state and city, you could go to New York and play 10 shows on one tour in New York City just to get your name down there and stay at one hotel.
And then people in New York know you.
Yep.
So
and then you got your name established there. Then you can go over to Philadelphia.
Exactly.
I mean, and when you see like the tour dates of all these cities that they're hitting these major cities because they have a giant population. You know, you don't really have to be heard of to get a show at a lot of these places. They're just there anyway, and then bam, you just got stamped on the map. Around here, you really have to do a lot of promotion.
Yeah.
We took flyers and stapled them to fence poles. We littered the streets with flyers. We put flyers on cars. Outside of bars. Another thing I seen, Life Curse, another band I seen one time, is they were handing out their demos, like that CD you see right behind you over there, Life Curse. They handed that out after one of the metal shows at the Orange Peel.
That's awesome.
I mean, just stacks. Handing them out as people were coming right out of the metal show, which I think was In Flames, maybe. It might have been another band.
But all those people went and listened to it.
Exactly. We did right there. We popped it right in the car as soon as we got it there, and bam, now we know who they were. And
you
followed them on YouTube, followed them on Facebook, and then that's it.
That's the grind, dude.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it.
If you're really busting your ass, man, that's the kind of shit you do.
Oh yeah, it was really awesome, and just the idea of marketing it that way nowadays is kind of unheard of. Everybody thinks of all the social media places, and you know, whether that is a good tool or not a good tool for, I guess, promotions. A lot of people will argue, but do whatever you can. I try every angle you possibly can to get your name, not really your name, but really get your music heard out there. That's the biggest issue. And you also have a thing with bands, they try to promote their stuff way too early before they get anything quality recorded. And that can kill your band.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it definitely
I've heard many bands that turned out really good bands, but I remember the last time I heard them sound like a trash can. Like, put a microphone in the middle of the garage. Music,
at least put the money into a good recording.
Yep.
If you're not going to do that, you're probably not going to get anywhere.
Like,
if you sound like shit, then people won't listen to you on a recording. So
like, go as far to spend the $1,500, you know, that goes into producing a good EP or whatever you can afford.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you can do.
At least one song in a good studio.
Even one song.
At least one song in a good studio is better.
And get it mixed and mastered by somebody that knows what they're doing. Like, it goes so far in the long
run. Like 1,000 levels beyond not doing that.
Awesome. So I got time for one more question, and then we're gonna get to an acoustic set that that they have prepared for us tonight. So I can't wait to see that. What's the name of the acoustic song you're gonna be playing?
By the Waves. Yeah.
By the Waves.
By the Waves.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that. But we got one more question first. The other one is really, let's talk about band financing. Bands are broke for the most part. They work a part-time job, so they get a flexible schedule. If they're doing a full-time job, that means they got bills to pay usually. And really, you know, you're spending all your money on this gear, and you're trying to get your guitars and your pickups right, and your pedals, and maybe your 2 amp, and maybe your drum kit, different cymbals, whatever you're getting, and that stuff costs a lot of money. And so how do you get that money to go to the band? Let's say like 1 or 2 of your members just don't spend any of their money on anything band related. Really, how do you guys discuss finances and stuff like that?
A big thing we do is any money made from shows saved does not go to band members. Any merch sales, CDs go straight to the band. And we also record bands, me and him do, and we try to save that. And we sell old gear. We've done it all to get money.
Like literally everything.
Yeah,
and on top of
so
that,
much
like
gear.
I mean, he's had a job. Like we throw money into it on top of that.
Yeah.
And we always try to, you know, split
It really
everything.
takes everybody pitching in, right?
Yeah, split
You
everything.
can really
equally.
try to compile a good foundation of like selling old gear, a little money from a check, saving show money, merch money. It can build into a
show
good
money
little...
builds better than anything.
that's how you
honestly.
pay for
if
your
you
studio
really
time.
look
Oh, yeah.
at it,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I mean, if you're making $100 a show, for instance, and you play 5 shows,
That's $500.
that's $500. That's
Yeah.
merch. That's albums. I mean, if you're literally buying CDs, I mean, you can do that.
Awesome.
So,
So what's
I mean-
the name of your EP called?
It's called the self-titled EP. It's just Big
Self-titled
Mystery.
EP? Okay,
Yep,
so
it's
Big
gonna be-
Mystery.
it's
And
gonna be
when
out-
is that being released?
It's gonna be out July 20th.
And me and him are playing a show in Roanoke, Virginia.
Yes.
It's like a little acoustic show, but we'll be selling it there, and it'll
Okay,
be
we'll be playing the
it'll
that
be
out
on
a little
all
bit.
platforms: Google Play, Spotify.
Come out and
iTunes.
hang
Hell
out
yeah.
with us. We'll have a blast. I promise.
In the meantime, listen to our single February. It's on Spotify, Google Play, all that stuff,
Yeah,
iTunes,
all those platforms.
as well as YouTube.
Yeah, that was the music video I just showcased. That was pretty damn awesome. And
Thank
so
you.
let's get I want to hear you guys play. Let's do it.
Yeah, thanks
do
so
it.
much,
I
man.
appreciate it.
A ship that sets sail for destruction, handle with care and no further instruction for you from me. But we're too blind to see that this is not the way that a heart's supposed to break. No, this is not a growing pain, broken hearts, and who's to blame? Everything was all the same, nothing ever changed. And why are we buried and lost by the waves? The waves. The waves. Well, and by the way, I was thinking today there's something I could say that might get you to stay, but I know that I won't give in to you, give in to this, and throw it all away, away. Throw it all away. that's all there is to say. We get carried away.